Παρακαλώ την προσοχή σας. Κυρίες και κύριοι συνάδελφοι.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. Ladies and gentlemen, the session is about to begin. We are now commencing the special agenda of the plenary of the Parliament, the Hellenic Parliament, as has been agreed upon. We will have Mr.
Μέσω υπηρεσιών τηλεδιάσκεψης. Εξοχότατε κύριε Πρόεδρε της Ουκρανίας.
Your Excellency President of the Ukraine, Your Excellency President of the Hellenic Republic, Your Excellency Mr. Prime Minister and leader of the Greek opposition party, Speaker of Mr. Ambassador of the French Embassy, Mr. Ambassador of the Ukrainian Embassy, Your Excellency, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps in Greece, and dear representative of the French presidency in Greece. As regards today's procedure, I would like to inform you that we will be working with translation with the Ukrainian language, the English language, and the Greek language. There will be a pathway in between the Greek and the Ukrainian language and vice versa, going through English, and this will cause a slight delay in time. There will be a transmission, a broadcast at Web TV 1 in Greek, Web TV 2 in Ukrainian, Web TV 3 in English. The broadcast will be live. Dear President of Ukraine, it is a great honor for me, and with sincere feelings of solidarity, we welcome you today to the Hellenic Parliament. Today's historically important plenary session, in the presence of the President of the Hellenic Republic, is dedicated to the struggling Ukrainian people defending themselves, whom you are the democratic leader. Fighting heroically and defending yourselves in an exemplary way against the barbaric and unprovoked Russian invasion, which for 43 horrible days now has been becoming increasingly more inhumane. Dear President, from the very first moment, Greece has strongly condemned Russia's attack against Ukraine and has reiterated its firm support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, as well as its right to self-defense. At the same time, we have been sending defense and humanitarian aid, and we are participating in establishing humanitarian corridors. Furthermore, I wish to see further European assistance and solidarity towards your country is strong. Already, the Greek Prime Minister has announced that we will undertake to rebuild the bombed maternity hospital of Mariupol. We are connected by unique historical ties. Hellenism has been present in the Black Sea region since antiquity, and the Greek community of Ukraine is concentrated mainly in beleaguered Mariupol. It has been severely tasted by the Russian bombings and mourns victims. You said yourself recently at the UN and the Spanish Parliament that the power of the UN Charter must be restored immediately and that Russia must respect international law. Greece and Hellenism with which you have been communicated all day today in Athens and in Cyprus, has for at least 5 decades now been claiming the very same things, both for reasons of inviolable principles and for reasons of defending our national rights. The northern part of Cyprus has since 1974 been under Turkish occupation. Your Excellency, President of the Ukraine, April is the cruelest month. And this verse is confirmed by the horrifying scenes of Russian atrocities against your civilian compatriots. Fate has made it so that you not only lead your country in this difficult time, in your person, freedom is confronting its enemies. And Greece, which 200 years ago declared and won the war for its own freedom, and where precisely 81 years ago today, as of this day, in the trenches of Macedonia in northern Greece, heroically resisted against the powerful hordes of the Third Reich, this very Greece, Greece itself, here today in its national delegation, welcomes you and stands honestly by your side until the final victory.
Κύριε Πρόεδρε της Ουκρανίας, έχετε το λόγο.
Mr. President of the Ukraine, you have the floor.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Madam Speaker, Your Excellency, Madam President, Your Excellency, Prime Minister, honorable members of the Hellenic Parliament, people of Greece, Kalimera. For more than a month now, every morning, I start with Mariupol, with information on what is happening in this Ukrainian city, which the Russian troops are destroying. This has not been in the case of European history during all the years after World War II. We have never seen a city being reduced to ashes, completely flattened. The city being completely under the siege. Its residents are killed by hunger and thirst. It used to be a city of 500,000 of population. There are still about 100,000 people still left in the city, but there is virtually no building left undamaged. The absolute majority of buildings have been utterly destroyed. The Russian military were destroying everything. There were bombing hospitals, maternity hospital, residential buildings have been gutted. They even bombed the city theater in which civilians were hiding from the bombs. And the word children was painted on the ground next to the building. Everyone could see that. Those are the words that the Russian pilots could see very well, and still they did not stop from delivering the air strike. Mariupol is almost destroyed, and I'm sure that each of you has already seen by now how the city looks today after the Russian Federation had approached the city. What desolation! That is what Russia has done to our peaceful Mariupol, but also to your peaceful Mariupol. This city has always been home to a large Greek community. Ukrainian Greek community is one of the largest in the world. For centuries, our peoples lived side by side. For centuries, we have been bringing up our children together. We were building our future, and the link between Ukraine and Greece is so ancient that it is already impossible to find its beginning. The Greek city-states on our Black Sea coast, the cultural exchange and trade, and the coexistence of our communities, all of that is already thousands of years of our history. Greek Hesonetses was depicted even on our national currency, on hryvnias. It is with Greece that we connect the development of Christianity not only in our country, but in our region as a whole. And Ukraine is one of the largest Orthodox countries, and the light of baptism was brought by the Greeks. And if someone tried to break the Greek roots in Ukrainian history and culture, we would lose. That means that we would lose a fundamental part of ourselves, just as for you, as this, in fact, very essential matter for your history, in your national self-perception. And exactly this is how we are so interconnected. Freedom or death. Those are the words that reflect not only our struggle against Russia's attempt to destroy Ukraine. This is part of your identity, which comes from our Odessa. And another southern city of Ukraine, which Russia can try to destroy as well as they have done it to Mariupol. When your foreign minister was last week in Odessa, the city was experiencing the consequences of Russian shelling. Yet another missile attack was launched. Today, Odessa is calm. But why? Only because our armed forces of Ukraine have been capable to hold back Russian attacks and thwart the barbaric Russian troops from their agreed direction to attack Odessa. The Russian troops have brought death and destruction to the land where for centuries both Ukrainians and Greeks have been enjoying peace and prosperity. Moreover, Russia has started a new deportation of people from southern Ukraine. At least tens of thousands of our citizens have already been taken away to the territory of Russia and to the temporarily occupied territory of Ukraine. Those are residents of Mariupol and of other cities and communities that were hit hard by the Russian troops. This is forced relocation of people by Russia, and it is definitely not the first relocation by the Russians, and both Ukrainians and Greeks suffer from such relocation. But the Russian state is doing it now as if the deportation was not to be the last one. Russia is absolutely confident in its invincibility and that they could do whatever they want without going unpunished. We have to stop it. We must bring Russia to justice. We must save Odessa from the same destruction that Mariupol has suffered. We have to find all the people deported by Russia. We have to save at least those in Mariupol who are still alive and who can be saved. Ladies and gentlemen, the people of Greece. Filiki Eteria was created in our Odessa and it played such a role in the history of your state, which cannot be overestimated. And I call on you now openly to create such a new union of friends which will be able to save Ukrainians and Greeks in the south of Ukraine, which will help Mariupol. This city needs humanitarian aid. The city needs rescue. We need to save people, those who are wounded and still live there. Russia has been blocking Mariupol since the beginning of March on land and on the sea. The Russians do not even allow the basic humanitarian cargo to be delivered to the city. And I'm sure that the strength of Greece will help us to realize the mission. And time matters. And please listen not only to me, listen to the words of two defenders of Mariupol who are right now in the city. They are in the city, and together with their brothers in arms, they are trying to stop the advance of the Russians. Please listen to two Ukrainians, but there are also two Greeks. One of them had to wear the mask so as not to show his face because his parents are in one of the towns that is already occupied by the Russians. I do hope you will understand. So please let us watch the video material.
Калимера. Уважаемые члены парламента Республики.
Distinguished members of parliament of the Greek Republic, I'm speaking to you. I'm an ethnic Greek. My name is Mikhail. My grandfather, Victor, was at war with the Nazis in the Second World War. He was 3 times wounded, and now I am at war with the Russian Nazis. I am one of those people who is defending our native city of Mariupol, where I was born, where I was raised, as a member of the Azov regiment. Do I need to tell you about the details of this struggle against the enemy? I don't think it's worth it. This is my duty as a man, as a citizen. But there's one thing that I have to say. It's the catastrophic, inhumane conditions in which the civilians of my city now find themselves. As you know, Mariupol is a part of Greece in Ukraine, in the sense of its cultural origins and ethnic origins. You have always helped the city, and it is thanks to you that it flourished. And today, the city has been 90% ruined by the Russian occupiers. As of the 1st of March, we have been cut off from the outside world. There is no water, no food, no medication in the city. What we have in the city is a humanitarian catastrophe. The enemy is bombing peaceful neighborhoods. They are constantly shelling us. They're conducting strikes, airstrikes from the sea. People are dying in their thousands. There's no one to bury them. And these are the bodies of Greek, ethnic Greeks as well. Do you understand? My name is Anastas. I'm also an ethnic Greek, and I am one of the defenders of Mariupol. I hope that you will hear me now. Hundreds of people, as we speak, are dying under the rubble. There is no one to help them. But the enemy keeps shelling. We have no chance to save them. What can you do? You can speak. You can speak about Greek people, about small Greek children who've lost their parents and are dying in the rubbles. We have the courage to resist the enemy, and we ask that you have the courage to provide humanitarian help to Mariupol. They are your people too. Help us to save them.
I am grateful to Greece for the humanitarian and defense support given to Ukraine. I'm very grateful for the sanctions that have been imposed by the democratic world, but the war goes on. The city of Mariupol is being destroyed. You have just listened to 2 heroes. The deportation of people from the territories occupied by the Russian troops continues. I urge you to use your influence and to use your opportunities as a member of the European Union to organize the salvation of Mariupol. I urge you to do more so that Russia started seeking peace and refused even from the dream of subduing Ukraine. Because this war which Russia unleashed against us is in fact the war against what has been created both by Ukrainians and Greeks so long ago. What will remain after the Russian artillery and Russian bombs? They will destroy all our common historical heritage. Our history and heritage is at threat. And we cannot say that Mariupol would be a new Thermopylae, where the heroes died as they were defending their city. Now we can save our heroes. And also we can repel the Russian troops away from our Ukrainian land. Once and for all, we can teach Russia and any other potential aggressors to understand that those who choose war always lose. Those who try to deprive a country of its independence and its territorial integrity always lose. Those who blackmail Europe with economic and energy crisis always lose. Let us be honest. Since the very beginning, Russia's actions were directed against not only Ukraine, but also Europe as such. And the Russians are doing everything to ensure that Europeans are left without affordable energy and that the energy poverty becomes a new reality on this continent. And Russia is doing all they can to provoke inflation for many people. Russia last year artificially created a deficit on the European gas market, and now they're doing all they can to artificially create a deficit in the world food market. This is a matter of honor for Europeans to answer to such a policy of Russia. And while Russian troops block peaceful cities and deport our people, no Russian bank has the right to earn money in the world financial system. They need to be blocked. All of them must be blocked, and not only some of them. And while this senseless and brutal war goes on, no Russian ship should have a possibility of entering any port in the democratic world. Why should we help them so that they make even more money by for producing their missiles and bombs to destroy not only Mariupol but also other Ukrainian cities? And first of all, we should not give any support to Russian tankers, those oil tankers which provide Russia with a constant flow of money for war. Ukraine needs weapons in order to force the Russian troops to leave our country. We, in particular, need anti-aircraft defense system, artillery systems, and projectiles to them. We need armored vehicles and other things that everyone in the West knows very well. And the sooner Ukraine receives this help, the more lives we can save in Ukraine. And one more point, a historical point. Our peoples have not always been, but will always be closely linked together. I believe that we will be able to bring peace to Ukrainian land. We will be able to bring to justice all those guilty of war crimes against Ukrainians, against Greeks, and against all other people who have become victims of the Russian army. We will be able to rebuild Mariupol and all other Ukrainian communities where Ukrainians and Greeks will live in peace and respect for each other as it has always been in the past. But I also believe that soon Ukraine and Greece will live as equal partners in our joint common European home in the European Union. I believe it. I know it. We will win. We will be victorious, but only together. Thank you very much, and glory to Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We would also like to thank the President of Ukraine, Mr. Zelenskyy, for this very highly emotional intervention and address to the Hellenic Parliament and via the Hellenic Parliament to the Greek people. Rest assured, Mr. President, that the Hellenic Parliament will do its best so that the assistance, the aid that Greece is already sending to your country is intensified and strengthened, because by helping Ukraine, we can help freedom. Slava Ukraine. And, of course, hooray, freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, do you accept that we adjourn this meeting? There is a consensus, so we are adjourning this meeting, and we will take again the floor tomorrow in order to discuss parliamentary issues of high importance. Thank you.